Games that help shake up the latest college football rankings. Oregon takes the top spot after shutting out Purdue 35-0. The Ducks ranked #1 for the first time since 2012. Meanwhile, Georgia rises to 2 with their win over Texas, while the Longhorns fall to 5. And for Alabama, they fall all the way to 15, lowest ranking since 2010. Here to help us break it all down, the one and only Paulie Finebaum. Hey, Paul.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning, morning. All right, Paul, Alabama's CFP chances, are they over?
They're close to being over. They have a razor-thin margin, and I'm sure nobody will agree with me, but let me lay it out. If they run the table, they will get in. But here's the problem. They have Missouri this weekend, manageable, but in 2 weeks, they go to LSU, where I don't think they can win. So I'll be an optimist and say there's a thin margin, but for the most part, their chances are getting very narrow.
Stephen A?
I don't feel that way. I don't feel they have a chance. I know theoretically, based on history over the years, teams with 2 or 3 losses, about 52 of the teams, an average of 5 since 2014, finished ranked in the top 11 or 12 once the final rankings came out for a season with 2 or 3 losses on their docket. I get that part, but I'm so disgusted with what I've seen from Alabama. I mean, the hell with Roll Tide. We can't say Roll Tide. We can't say, listen, Kalen DeBoer doesn't seem like the right man for the job. This is a man that's won at every level. He's a 2-time national champion in NAIA. He went to the national championship game for Washington. He was a 2-time Pac-12 Coach of the Year. But this dude is no Nick Saban. Boy, do we miss Nick Saban. If I was Alabama, Shannon, I'd beg Nick Saban to leave college football game day and come back in the middle of the damn season. I'm so disgusted with what I've seen from them so much. And I mean, it looks like they hired the wrong guy. They should have went and got Dan Lanning from Oregon, okay, who the personality to go from Nick Saban to LeBoy, it just seems like night and day. The level of accountability, the defense, the fluidity. I mean, the Rough Riders, you don't seem to be there. Listen, it's bad. It's because not only did they have 2 losses in the last 3 weeks, they should have lost to South Carolina. They should have lost 3 straight. I'm very, very disgusted, Shannon. I'm very disgusted at what I'm seeing. This is not what we expected. It almost seems like the AD said, you know what? I've been so exhausted dealing with Nick Saban over the last years. I need somebody that's a bit more pleasant and ain't going to hold me too accountable or something. I just don't like what I'm seeing at Alabama right now. I'm very disgusted.
Yeah, Paul, I'm going to let you be the optimist, but I'm going to be the pessimist. I don't see a situation where they go into LSU and win that ball game. I thought the Vanderbilt game really killed them. When you looked at their schedule, knew they had to go play on the road at Knoxville, know they have to go on the road at Death Valley. The likelihood of them escaping those with wins didn't seem very, very likely. And as Stephen A. said, they probably should have lost to South Carolina. They probably really should have. And I think the biggest issue is, look, who in the hell other than Coach Bryant was Nick Saban at the college level? Nobody. There's only been the 2 greatest college coaches actually coached at the same university, Coach Bryant and Coach Saban. So nobody is Nick Saban other than Coach Bryant, and nobody's Coach Bryant other than Nick Saban. But Jalen Milroe, Stephen A., he hasn't played well. And what he needs to understand is that he doesn't have the team that can overcome his mistakes. He threw an interception into the end zone that took points off the board. And that last interception to end the game, he stared the receiver down. The DB made a great play. He didn't drop it. And that's the thing what you got to do. When someone makes a mistake, you make them pay the ultimate price by getting the turnover and completing the act. So, yeah, I don't see it, Paul. Honestly, I do not see them making, and it's going to be sad because you have this expectation level of them winning 10, 11 games every single year. Yeah. I can theoretically see them probably losing 3 or 3 games for sure. I don't see them beating LSU in Death Valley, but would I be surprised if they lost the 4th game? No, I wouldn't.
They had inside knowledge, and the fact that he said what he did a couple of weeks ago really makes what Stephen A. said one of the most prescient comments of this entire season. I am blown away by what I'm seeing from Coach Prime and his team. It is remarkable to watch, Stephen A.
He's been absolutely spectacular as far as I'm concerned, because I say that because, Shay, I'm just chiming in here. Listen, they came into the season predicted to finish 11th in their conference. We were questioning whether or not they were going to win 4 games. They are 5-2 after 7 games. They got a leading candidate for the Heisman in Travis Hunter, assuming that he's going to be healthy enough to play a few more games this season. I know this guy, GT, out of Boise State, is no joke. I mean, this brother can run spectacularly with the football. He opened the season, I think the second game of the season, they went up against number 1 ranked Oregon. This brother ran for 192 yards, so we got to pay attention to what we're seeing from that brother at Boise State. But in the end, when you look at Travis Hunter and the way that he plays, when you look at Deion Sanders and how he's been balling, when you look at the fact that they're 5-2 and that they could end up being in a bowl game, if Deion Sanders gets this team to 8 or 9 wins and they are in a bowl game, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the National Coach of the Year.
Shay, real quick before you jump in here, I just have to say this has been a very good day for you. It has. You haven't taken any L's. A lot of good prognosticating, and I'm just really impressed with you today, both in the NFL and college football. So I wanted to give you that. I'm glad I could come back to this moment. Shannon?
Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think for the first time, they start to look like a team. They can run the football. They can stop the run. They're doing a better job of protecting Shador. They can get after the opposing team's quarterback. Special teams are solid. And so that's what I've been most impressed with. I think the thing for me is that when I saw them against UCF, and they went down there, that was their most impressive win to date since Coach Prime was there. And then they came so close. They had the lead against Kansas State. Kansas State comes back and takes the lead and win the game late. Man, that would have been something. Had they won that game, probably would have been ranked. Now, they have a very tough opponent at home this week in Cincinnati. It's going to be very interesting if they win this game, go to 6-2. Paul, could they possibly sneak into the top 25, which would be something very, very impressive, given where they were just 2 years ago. I think they won 1 game, and here they are just 2 years later. Coach Prime has them at 6-2. But I've been very impressed with the job, the turnaround in which he's done at Colorado, because now all of a sudden they can do things that you expect a good quality football team to be able to do.
Shay, what's so remarkable right now, I mean, they are still in the race for the Big 12. Now, why is that important? If somehow they can pull an upset or two, and it's very possible based on what we're seeing, and they get in that championship game and then pull the shocker of all shockers, and I think that's a long shot, but it's possible, then we're actually talking CFP. Now, I know that's a little bit getting ahead of my skis here, and it doesn't take away or change the conversation about Stephen A. and Coach of the Year. I think that is dead on. But everything is in front of them, and after that Thursday night game when they looked so poor and barely pulled it out, I didn't think they could get to 4 wins. So this is one of the great turnarounds we have seen.